Hey guys, so in today's video, I thought that I would show you guys a little tool that I recently got from Amazon. And I also wanted to let you guys know an update on how occupational therapy is going. And I should also specify the thing that I got from Amazon is actually related to occupational therapy. It was something that was recommended to me by my occupational therapist to get. It may seem a little bit unconventional to some of you who don't understand just how occupational therapy works and the things that we work on in occupational therapy. If you guys are curious about how occupational therapy benefits me, I do plan to make a video kind of talking about some of the things that I work on in occupational therapy, as well as the ways that it has benefited me in this whole physical rehabilitation journey that I'm currently going through. So for those of you who are unaware, I just want to give a short little backstory. In October of 2024, I had multiple seizures lasting over 8 minutes each, one right after the other, and I ended up with paralysis on the right side. I also was diagnosed with a neurological condition. So yeah, anyways, I have been going through occupational therapy for a couple of months. I was in the hospital in inpatient rehab for almost a month. It was about 20 days. And I have been doing occupational therapy since November. Physical therapy, I have my initial evaluation for next week on Tuesday, I believe. Yes. But I have a reassessment for occupational therapy tomorrow afternoon. So I thought that today would be as good of a day as ever to talk to you guys about how I feel like it's going, some of the progress that I've made. And I also want to show you, because I am able to move my thumb and my index finger very minimally, but it is movement. I do want to turn the camera around at the end of this video to show you guys the movement that I'm able to get in my thumb and my index finger. So like I said, I've been doing this since November. It is currently the beginning of January 2025 that I've been doing outpatient occupational therapy. Since November. Like I said, I was inpatient doing occupational therapy and physical therapy for about a month, almost a month, after this happened in October. But let me show you the little tool that I got. So this is a little stress ball. It is a little hedgehog stress ball. And I want to kind of talk to you about why the occupational therapist recommended that I get one. So we are currently working on grasping things or working on closing the fingers. So basically this type of a movement where you're squeezing. I can't do that with all of the fingers, obviously. And honestly, I'm able to do it with my thumb on my right side more than I am my index finger. But that is why we're trying to work on it. So basically she wants me to practice squeezing things. She said I could practice with a sock or a stress ball. I've done it a few times at occupational therapy with a smaller tennis ball. But if I didn't want to get a stress ball, I could have done it with rolled up socks or whatever. But I decided to make it fun and hedgehog, a little cute hedgehog. I'm more apt to use something cute and fun. So like I said, we're practicing this motion. Sorry, it's a little blurry. I have my camera on a different mode, so it's not really focusing, but we are practicing on the squeezing motion of these two because that is the movement that I have, the function in these two fingers, well, the thumb and the index finger on my right side. So we're basically working on this type of a movement. So what she has me doing is just as often as I feel like it, I can practice squeezing. I can also use this good hand to practice or force my fingers to do that movement. Even if it is the other fingers besides just the thumb and the index finger, it's good to get the movement from all fingers, even if I'm forcing them to do that. Because we are trying to wake up the brain to hopefully make those connections so that I'm able to gain strength and connect somehow, hopefully. because if I was able to get this arm back working, it would definitely make things a lot easier for me. I could propel myself around in my wheelchair quite a bit more easily than I am right now. And so these are some of the things that we're working on. I am also working on my stamina and endurance. I'm working on balancing. When I stand up, I'm able to stand up for a few minutes at a time as long as I have something to hold on to. And usually I use this hand to kind of stabilize myself because I have paralysis in my right arm and my right leg. So it is a little bit wonky the way that I stand, just because obviously with paralysis on this side, I can't walk, but I am able to balance enough as long as I have, like I said, something to hold on to. The movement in my right hand is something that is new since I was an inpatient. When I left inpatient rehab, I was not able to move my right hand at all. I was able to wiggle my toes on my right foot, and I'm still able to do that, but that is the extent of the movement that I have in my leg and foot, is just wiggling the toes. Other than that, the rest of it is paralyzed. So it is very frustrating. We're not exactly sure if I will get any more function back, and I am concerned because it's been so long since I've done physical therapy. I have continued to do the exercises that the physical therapist at inpatient rehab sent me home with. It's just very frustrating because my local rehab center where I've been doing occupational therapy had told me when I started doing occupational therapy that they'd get me into physical therapy when I was able to. And finally, I had to basically like yell at someone to get myself scheduled for even the initial evaluation. So it was very frustrating and it's been a long road, but I'm just thankful that next Tuesday, today is Thursday, next Tuesday, I do have that appointment for my initial evaluation with physical therapy. So with that being said, I do want to turn the camera around and show you guys the movement that I am able to do with my thumb and my index finger. So if you have stayed this long, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who has sent me positive thoughts and vibes and prayers throughout this whole situation, because it's definitely been some craziness and very frustrating stuff that I've been dealing with. And this is just kind of my new normal with my new life, as someone who is now a full-time wheelchair user and needs to kind of try to rehabilitate myself with little to zero help from certain healthcare providers that I thought would be there for me more than they have been. So anyways, if you guys have any questions or any topics that you'd like me to cover in future videos, let me know that. And I'm going to turn the camera around now so that I can show you guys the extent that I am able to move my thumb and my index finger on my right hand that has been paralyzed basically since October. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Please, no judgments. I'm doing the best that I can. And it is very frustrating for me to have to go through this, but I'm going to turn the camera around so that you guys can see, and that will be the end of the video. Okay, so this is my right hand, and I'm not able to move the middle finger, the ring finger, or the pinky, but my thumb, you can see the muscle twitching there. I am purposely doing that. It is a conscious movement effort. I am able to move it slightly. It's not a whole lot of movement that I'm able to get, which is why we're trying to work on the certain movements that I was telling you about. And then I know it's kind of hard with the angle, but I am able to get a little bit of index finger movement there as well. Not a whole lot. But I'm working on it, so I'm hopeful that eventually I might get some more movement there, but so far it's not a whole lot, but I can definitely feel a difference. And yeah, I'm able to move my thumb the most, but that index finger hasn't been quote unquote awake as long as the thumb has, so I've been working more with the thumb and like making movements like that. It's harder to do against gravity, so it's harder to lift them up, But those are also things that I've been working on, and don't mind the coins on the floor. I just dropped a whole bunch of things on the floor, so yeah. But anyways, that is the progress I'm making. So stay tuned if you're curious about what other progress I made. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.